I'll text the copy of this resolution. Tell Bill. Tell Bill that.
I didn't sign the sheet.
Hold on.
Bob, how long do you want to hold the door for?
everyone. Welcome to the public forum for our August meeting of the Rensselaer County Legislature. It is 6:15. Thank you for your patience. So we have several speakers signed up tonight. Thank you all for coming. So I'll read the rules of the chair. They are as follows. For the public hearing to be held on Wednesday each month at the Rensselaer County Chamber at 6 p.m. The public forum is open to all interested members of the public and media. The chair of the legislature has set the rules for public forum to be no more than 3 persons shall be permitted to address the legislature on the same subject, and no person shall typically speak for more than 5 minutes on such subject. Because there are so many of you here tonight, in the past, I always typically allow everybody to speak because I think it's important to be able to hear your comments and concerns. But tonight, because we have so many people here, I've talked to some of our other legislators on both sides, and what we're going to do is limit your comments to 3 minutes. You can speak on whatever topic you would like. It's not going to be limited. However, it is going to be limited to Rensselaer County residents only. And that's something that we always have in our rules. So with that said, we will be timing, and I will unfortunately have to interrupt if you get close to your time because of the number of people we have here tonight. There's some names on here that honestly we could not decipher, so I'll try my best. But the first one is Christopher Fraunhofer from Troy.
Good evening, it's Christy Fraunhofer, but thank you.
Christy?
Yes.
Somebody wrote Christopher on the sign-in sheet. Did you not sign in?
No. Somebody signed in for me to make sure that I got on the list to speak first. It is Christy, though.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My husband and I moved to the town of Brunswick 25 years ago because we wanted to raise our family in a small community, and that environment has changed drastically in the last few years. We live in a neighborhood right off of Hoosick Street by the old Roxy Cleaners, and it has become the official throughway and highway for the spillover from the traffic on Hoosick Street. On Friday afternoons, it would be that the road would be gridlocked. Now it is at all times. The GPS sends people directly through our neighborhood. Our neighborhood was not designed to handle the influx of traffic. We have neighbors that park on the side of the roads, and we have roads that are so narrow that no 2 cars can pass at the same time, which makes it impossible for pedestrians. We cannot have our kids ride our bikes. We can't walk our dogs in the winter because we're on the roads. And we have had drivers that come through at tremendous speeds that don't stop at the stop signs. They do not adhere to the speed limits, and they go over our very low speed humps like they don't exist. So we are looking for someone to please reconsider the development in Brunswick. We are not against development, we are for smart development. We now live on a street with neon signs and empty storefronts, and every time we go to a town of Brunswick meeting, people are begging for the development to stop, and we are not being listened to. I know that we are kind of running on time, and I heard that this did not make it out of the committee, and we are hoping that after you hear some of the concerns of the residents and the people who all came to hopefully speak, that this would be reconsidered with all of the new information and be brought back to the committee. Also, and is that my time? No. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm going to keep going on my other notes then. Also, that we have lost the charm of Brunswick and Sickaway. We are now a place that has trash on the sidewalks, abandoned shopping carts. It's a danger for pedestrians. We have in just our neighborhood tractor trailers coming through, and one has hit a house. We have had neighbors attacked by the people who come through because they have been sitting in traffic on Hoosick for so long. Now they're in our neighborhood, there's road rage. And when neighbors gently ask them to please slow down, there's children playing in the yards, they yell at us obscenities, they throw soda cans at us. One neighbor had their mailbox blown up overnight after they had a confrontation with somebody in the neighborhood driving through. So we would just like to hopefully prevent this to happening to other neighborhoods, since ours will never quite be the same. Well, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Mary Ellen Adams.
Can this not count towards my 3 minutes, but I'd like to, I'm not sure who I give this to. This is 50 letters and emails from people sharing their concerns on Hoosick Road for the legislators. Okay. Thank you. Hi, Mary Ellen Adams, and I've been a Brunswick resident for over 50 years. I'm going to talk about revenues from Brunswick, because we know the revenues from commerce along the Route 7 corridor is very important to the city, the town, the county, and the state. And Route 7 has been termed the commercial zone for the town of Brunswick, but with that comes some responsibilities and planning that so far we're having a little trouble with. So I'd just like to share some information. The Brunswick Comprehensive Plan was updated in 2013, and in 2024 there was a Hoosick Road study. Both these documents listed the priority for citizens was to improve traffic congestion on Hoosick Road. There's been a lot of studies paid with our tax dollars, but little's been done as far as action on the recommendations. I drove up today and I counted at least 12 empty storefronts from Brunswick Town Line to Stewart's. This is a loss of revenue that seems to be overlooked in a lot of the information that's out there. I'm not sure how a temporary halt to new construction could reduce our current tax income of, $2 million for sales tax. And again, I heard that the resolution that brought us here tonight has not made it through committee, which is very disappointing. And I'm urging you to listen to what you hear tonight and to bring it back based on what you hear, so that it gets the full discussion of the full legislature, not just a small group that decides whether it's a topic to be brought forth, because it's not just a town issue, it affects all of us in the community. Other economic losses from the congestion include, there's 593 accidents listed from Lake Avenue to Grange Road in 2017 to 2022. That's from the study. Remember, COVID shut us down in 2020, so I think it's fair to say that from 2023 to now, there's a heck of a lot more accidents happening on an annual basis. Also reported in the study was in 2021, and this is a quote, the total hours of delay, 61,471 annual person hours of delay per mile, is also very high, suggesting frequent recurring congestion in this area. The area they're referring to is eastbound, so going towards Bennington from Lake Avenue to McChesney. Very small area, a lot of numbers. So I think that this would have a profound effect on productivity of anybody driving along that road. New York State's trying to do renewable energy. There's a lot of funding and work out on that, but this seems in conflict to all the emissions that are happening from cars sitting 15 to 30 minutes in traffic on gridlock. I don't have an electric car. How long does a charge last if you're standing still for an extra 20 minutes? Fender benders are very frequent. How are drivers handling the increased car insurance rates based on their claims from all the accidents? The hours that are lost to people in traffic means less time to shop and use services up on the hill, late arrivals at work, maybe late daycare and school pickups. What are the delays that volunteers experience getting to their fire stations for emergency calls because they're in gridlock? At the bottom of Hoosick Street, many Troy residents...
Your time is up,
Oh, okay.
You just finished.
I tried.
Finish your thoughts.
I guess I'm just going to say this. It affects people on Hoosick Street. It affects people in Rensselaer County, and we've been made to feel invisible, the people that live along Hoosick Street, Route 7, and the people that drive it. And what I'm asking you as our elected officials is don't make us be invisible. Listen to us. Be the one that stands up and makes change. The resolution not getting out of committee only meant it wasn't going to get to the legislature for discussion. It doesn't mean that you were voting it was going to happen. Let it get to discussion. This topic means a lot, and you're going to hear more. So just let it get to discussion. I don't think it's a big ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me go over.
You're welcome. Victoria Gavin? Galvin?
I timed myself right to 5 minutes, so I really tried to chop it down.
Residency, where's your residency?
I live in the town of Brunswick. I've lived in Brunswick my entire life. When my husband and I got married, we knew we wanted to raise our family in Brunswick because we knew it was beautiful, green, quiet, safe, and it was filled with warm memories for me. Ever since, we have lived in the home that my grandparents built themselves in 1949 on the farmland where my great-grandfather raised his family. It has slowly been changing around us, as all towns will do, but 2017 was the beginning of the end. That year, our home and our neighborhood, along with many others along the Hoosick Street corridor, were rezoned from residential to commercial with barely a notice and certainly without us asking for it. Over the past 8 years, there has been nonstop development along the Hoosick Street corridor. Regularly commuting down and back up Hoosick Street has become downright dangerous. 2 days before I wrote this, I witnessed a very bad 2-car accident that took place in front of the Hilton as one vehicle attempted to turn left. This is only one of the many accidents that I've seen in our 2.5-mile stretch of Route 7. There's also been a vast shift from neighborhoods and families to new big businesses and ugly vacant storefronts. It has been a scourge on what our community once was, and this past year it came to my doorstep personally. My once small, quiet neighborhood will now be home to a 24/7 quick check gas station, a convenience store, a mattress store, which will be located directly across from an empty Metro mattress location that closed about a month and a half ago, and a Chipotle. I attended numerous planning, zoning, and town board meetings, as did many of my friends, family, and neighbors. We sent letters and spoke whenever able about our numerous valid concerns and the impact that further new construction would have on Hoosick and our neighborhood in particular. And we even had wonderful fellow Brunswick residents stand up to try to help us after the exact same thing happened to their neighborhoods 2, 5, 10 years ago. We're still speaking upon deaf ears. Our main request was to stop the through traffic that we know we will suffer as drivers utilize an additional exit onto Mohawk Ave that the developer insisted on. Drivers will discover that they can proceed through our neighborhood to the traffic light at Roosevelt. A gate identical to one installed at the Brunswick One Fire Company and also at Rensselaer Honda would prevent this through traffic and allow for emergency vehicles to access the site whenever needed. I spoke with the chief of Brunswick One who informed me that the gate would be a good solution because the curbing that the planning board and developers selected will prohibit the emergency vehicle access through that entry. No compromises were made to help Brunswick's own residents. No responses were made to address the concerns over additional traffic, the safety of our children, and the intrusive lighting and noise, or the destruction of yet another piece of beautiful green space. Instead, the planning board allowed for all 8 variances requested by the developer. Any questions posed to the developer by the board about limiting lighting, hours, etc. were dismissed because the corporation wouldn't allow it. Once again, big business was given everything they wanted and dictated the requirements rather than the planning board, and the quality of life of the residents of the town of Brunswick went ignored. As you consider what's becoming of the town of Brunswick and what issues Hoosick Street and its development pose to the residents of Rensselaer County, please think of my family and hundreds more like us. Okay, thank you. Eventually the construction is going to end, but we're not going to finish having the 24/7 noise, lights, and traffic. The only options that I have ever been given my elected officials were to move or to get an attorney. So I have really high hopes for you that you will all listen to the information that we're bringing you today, bring this resolution back to the committee after you have actually received all of the information tonight. And just to finish really quick, I promise, my 7-year-old daughter, Ada, wrote her own letter and wanted to share it with everyone. Dear County Legislature, Mama has worked very hard and wanted help and hasn't gotten any. It's already been really busy, and these stores will make them busier, and I am sad to see all the construction. Maybe you could help save our neighborhood. Thanks.
Okay, next is Tom Russell. say your name and address for the rest of the legislators that are here tonight.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hoffman. Appreciate it. Just great. I'm sorry. Just trying to keep it light.
I'm sure you've done better, right?
Just a
Like,
touch.
little
Just a touch. Tom Russell, Town Post and Field Supervisor. I just wanted to thank the legislature for passing in their July session the RFP for the Dyke and Pond Dam Structural Engineering Study. The residents of Post and Field appreciate it very much and are looking forward to see what results come out. But we do thank you for taking the time to pass it and start the ball rolling. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Ms. Hoffman. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Again,
Much, especially, you probably should have brought the mic back to you.
No. I appreciate the opportunity of being able to come up and address you, and I thought it was well worth coming out tonight. A very nice evening to you all. Take care.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Tim Galvin.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Tim Galvin from Brunswick. I'm Tori's husband, and as you just heard, I probably should have gone first. My wife is an eloquent speaker, so I thank her very much for speaking for us. My name is Tim Galvin, and I live on Mohawk Avenue in Troy, right off Huska Street. Across the street from our house that I share with my wife Tori and our 2 young daughters is an active construction zone. All day today, all I heard was nothing but bulldozers and excavators and noises from tractor trailers and honking horns and commuters stuck going at glacial pace in traffic. Although I was aware of the traffic when I first moved in with my wife in 2013, it has significantly gotten worse over the past 10 years or so. I love living in Brunswick. It is quiet, has quiet country spaces right up the road from shops and city activities. My wife and I and our family enjoy the town concerts every Tuesday in the summer, and we love having our brush and grass picked up and leaves picked up once a month. Also, the low taxes are also a wonderful perk as well. However, my wife and I have grown disheartened by the decisions of the town board. Our property was rezoned from residential to commercial without any serious input or opinion from us. Our request to not have a 24-hour gas station adjacent to us was ignored, as well as our pleas to have any traffic reducing measures on our quiet street. All we've heard from this part of the comprehensive plan is to commercialize this section of Route 7, and is the reason why is to keep taxes low, and that the businesses that are coming in would not accept any of the changes or measures for the residents. I also heard on a local radio show our town supervisor saying that, quote, some people needed to be sacrificed for the greater good. Well, as you see by many of the residents back here, these are some of the individuals that are being sacrificed for the greater good. We are voters, we are taxpayers, we are community members, and we do not appreciate being called people being sacrificed. Our town prides itself on being small and neighborly, but many of our residents don't feel that those concerns are being taken seriously. That is why I request the town county legislature to pass this resolution, although I should change it to please bring the resolution back to committee just to discuss it, because you do have members of the community here that feel that this measure is really important and that it should at least be discussed. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next we have Ann Devine.
I can be pretty short and sweet with this. First of all, I live in Wynantskill, New York, but my daughter, my son-in-law, and my grandchildren live in Brunswick. and you have some idea how important it is for a grandmother to be able to get to their grandkids. Well, you have to actually time the day to get there if you don't want to sit in traffic to do that. But everything that happens in Brunswick also affects everybody downstream in Troy. And I'm speaking about trying to get to the Troy Y safely. I don't know how many of you have ever tried to take a left-hand turn, but first you worry about everybody running into you from behind, and then you worry about running into you on the side because there is almost no access. Think about everything you're doing in Brunswick and all of these wonderful people who really care about that. And then think about the downstream that everybody else is dealing with. That's all I'm asking. Thanks.
Thank you, Ann. Next we have Connie, is it Voice? You're gonna pass, okay. Thank you. Next we have Mary Frances Sabo.
Good evening, Kelly and legislators. I'm going to switch it up and talk a little bit about criminal justice funding tonight, just in case you were getting bored. Members of the majority of this legislative body and the county executive frequently criticize criminal justice reforms, including raise the age legislation, which in a number of phases changed the age of criminal responsibility to 18. It is worth noting that New York, along with North Carolina, was one of the last two states to automatically prosecute 16 and 17-year-olds as adults in criminal cases until this legislation was adopted in 2017. Despite social media rantings against raise the age, the legislative majority and executive were happy to accept $4.4 million in state funding at the July legislative meeting. In a July 8th social media post, the majority stated, and I quote, "The funding supports vital public safety and social service programs in our county, including probation staffing, youth detention services, family therapy, youth employment, and more." In order to access this funding, the county must prepare a detailed, comprehensive plan to submit to the State Division of Criminal Justice Services and the Office of Children and Family Services. I have searched the county website and I've been able to find this plan, or even a summary of how this state funding is being used to support our youth, our county staff, and programs. What jobs are being funded? Have initiatives for county youth been created? Legislator Grant, as chair of the Public Safety Committee, do you know where this $4 million is going, and how can I find out?
Okay, next we have Jim Curtis. You're gonna pass? Okay, thank you. Next we have Dave and Aaron Zernecki. Did I get that right?
Dan and Aaron.
Dan and Aaron, yes.
Hello, we are Dan and Aaron Cernicki. We're from the town of Brunswick. We live on North Lake Ave, which is right off of Hoosick. I believe North Lake Ave is a county road. We do have a very high amount of traffic. Again, we are part of the neighborhood that Christy mentioned earlier. That is kind of where GPS sends all of the traffic from North Lake or from Hoosick when they're trying to go around. So they come through our nice, quiet neighborhood. Again, as some of the points that Christy said, our neighborhood was not created to handle this much traffic coming through. We basically cannot walk in our neighborhood anymore because of the traffic. We being on North Lake Avenue, before there was a four-way stop that was put in at the intersection of North Lake, Genesee, and Freer Park Road, Freer Park going through the park. There were accidents there constantly. We were keeping track of the accidents for quite a while because they were happening so frequently. Once the four-way stop went in, those accidents were curtailed a bit, but we still have quite a few people that are just blowing through the stop signs on North Lake Avenue, which we see frequently. And just the higher amount of traffic. There are a lot of people that walk on North Lake Ave. There are no sidewalks on North Lake Ave, so they are basically walking on the shoulder, taking their lives into their own hands, walking along that shoulder. There is the RPI track team, cross-country track team, that will actually run up during the school year. They will run up from RPI and they'll come and run through our neighborhood. They run on North Lake Ave with the amount of traffic that comes on North Lake, and you have about 20 college students that are running along the street. It's not meshing well, having the neighborhood that used to be what it was and all of the traffic that is now what it is coming through this area. And that's my comments. You want to say something too?
Are we one or are we two?
Say a couple comments.
I'll let you both speak. Go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Dan Cernicki. I second everything that she said and everybody else. Another witness to everything that was said. There was actually a death at our intersection. A man died on our lawn because of that intersection. Somebody hit the car and it flew up on the lawn. So that's when I think a little bit more attention was paid at that intersection. I just want to say that when I marvel into all of we just came from Boston, the Big Dig, these wonderful marvels of society that we can't provide, 2 eastbound and 2 westbound lanes seems to be absolutely absurd. So I would like to see a serious consideration, build it and they will come. If it was deemed as a business district, you make sure that the road itself to bring in all of the customers is wide enough to make a right turn into a business instead of that merged lane in front of the gas station earlier, right at North Lake. That's where the problem starts. It's literally about, a half a mile between that point and McChesney. Widen the streets. Problem solved. Have a good night, everybody.
Next is Lynn and Patty Spraga.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. My name is Patty Spraga. Lynn is my husband, and we thought it was just a sign-in sheet. But I did come here tonight with the intention of mentioning something about social media and the power it has. Hi. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for embracing modern technology and making use of social media, whether it's Facebook or Facebook Messenger or email or texting. It is awesome to see these messages and to be able to share them amongst our friends, family, and know what's going on in our county, in our community. 2 issues lately have come to my attention. Somehow I've become like the town crier. I live in Brunswick. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Pickleball courts and traffic. I understand there's a big spend on the table for pickleball courts. Go for it, or don't. I don't care, but I do care about traffic because every day, twice a day, both directions, we have to drive on Hoosick Street, as I'm sure many of you do, and we're all equal when we're sitting in traffic. But with social media, okay, we saw a message come out that there was a resolution from the county legislature asking the town of Brunswick to pause commercial development and address the traffic issues which have been documented as solutions. What we need is the money. Nobody wants to pony up. Please call your state representatives, raise the bar, so that we can get the funding we need. Our governor announced yesterday that she's going to spend $40 million to revitalize 787, and that's wonderful, good for her, great. We don't need 40 million. We need like 2, maybe. If we had a friend in construction, maybe less. I don't know. Anyway, social media. There were 6 between legislative posts and news articles. I shared 6 posts on Facebook this week, from the 1st of the month through today, on the topics of pickleball and Hoosick Street traffic, because I like to share information. I shared these posts across multiple community groups because there's all these little like Brunswick News and Views and Brunswick Neighbors and Hoosick Falls and Post and Kill and Pittstown, all of them. So I tried to pick, because this traffic thing is so important, I picked groups all along Route 7, from the city of Troy all the way to Hoosick Falls. There were over 20,000 people that I was reaching out to. I can't say for sure that 20,000 people read these posts, but I put it at their kitchen table, I put it on their cell phone, I shared it. Out of those shares, and I sat in my kitchen today and I counted them, there were over...
Say you're over your time.
Oh,
You could just finish.
okay, sorry. There were over 400 reactions and over 50 people shared my posts, okay? So just imagine, 50 people shared my posts, and if 400 people saw theirs, you have communicated to so many people in such a short amount of time for 0 money. Keep up the good work with social media. If you can find your way to get us some money to fund this traffic thing in Hoosick, or in Brunswick on Hoosick Road, it'd be amazing. It'd be a miracle. Please, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next signed up is Mary Beth Bruno.
Mary Beth Bruno. I live off of North Lake Avenue on the Brunswick town side, although I am a Troy girl. There's been a lot of media attention regarding Hoosick Street, and it seems the narrative has gone to taxes versus traffic, safety, and quality of life. So I just would like to bring back the conversation to the issue that presents us, and that is traffic. I am here to support the resolution that was proposed tonight but did not pass to the full legislature. I support it because it's common sense. The action that is being proposed is to place a pause button on new development, not stop development, and as a result, there would be no threat to current revenue. So I feel like there's been a lot of confusion and misunderstanding, and we're getting away from what really is important. The traffic on Route 7 is not a new problem. Everyone knows it. However, the problem is getting worse. This problem has been described as a headache. However, we live the headache. There are 25,000 cars that travel through Route 7. The population in Brunswick is around 13,000, I believe, but 25,000 cars are traveling. In fact, and this is something that our residents have repeatedly brought to our officials' attention. In fact, it was a year ago with the assistance of our crusader, the late Jennifer Mann, that we held a community forum independently. We brought over approximately 75 residents together on Keys Lane, and we discussed what their concerns were and how we could be creative in addressing these concerns, and we came up with some really great ideas. We brought those to our town officials, and their response was that their hands are tied. It's a state road, there's nothing they can do. This resolution is urging Brunswick to take the pause, but truly this problem affects everybody. Why would we want to make this problem worse? I'm sure that everyone from the county as well does not want to make it worse, but this is an opportunity to make it better. We need this pause so that we can support our Brunswick officials, see what we can do if we all come together and have a conversation and bring it to the next level of government and cooperation of all government at every level. The comments you've heard earlier tonight are valid and very personal. I'm going to just share a different perspective. In March, I happened to have to pull over on the side of the road off of North Lake above Freer Park. In 15 minutes, I counted 23 out-of-state cars. In that very short period of time, and it was just my humble testing, it was obvious, and I've heard from other people speaking tonight, that GPS is diverting traffic away from Hoosick Street and through our side roads, and North Lake, as you all know, is a county road.
Very good, very good time.
Okay, okay. These are 90 cars that are traveling on side roads. They're not paying taxes, they're not voting, they're not going to fast food on Hoosick Street. This is not an addition or a help to our revenue. So it is my hope that tonight you will bring back this resolution, reconsider it. This is a bigger problem than just Hoosick Street. Thank you.
Mr. Maloney?
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Bill Maloney. I represent the town of Brunswick, along with Rensselaer and Rensselaer. We hear you. We hear each and every one of you. We listen. We read your emails. We talked about this. Friday, we sat down, the few of us, and we come up with another resolution that we're going to present as a late file. I have a copy for it in the minority here to read. The town of Brunswick has had, actually, the Hoosick corridor for the 2.5 miles has had 8 traffic studies in 25 years. There's been recommendations out of every one of those traffic studies. They've cut the corners through the state on every one of those recommendations. The state has not done what the people that know the business, the Capital District Transportation Association, the CTA, who knows how to move people, the Creighton Manning, who's one of the largest engineering firms that deals with traffic flows and traffic studies. They've not taken any of their recommendations or many of their recommendations and implemented them. Okay? There's a very simple one that was put together and actually asked for by the town of Brunswick and many of the people in the town of Brunswick, as well as the Capital District Transportation Authority, the CDTA, and Creighton Manning sat down, did a study just in this past year. Okay, last year, came out in 2024. Makes 2 simple suggestions. 2 simple suggestions, right? Everybody hates roundabouts, I'm sure. We've gotten used to them a little bit, right? But 2 roundabouts, and mind you, I've lived in the Brunswick area my whole life. Okay, I've actually had lunch at your house with your grandparents because my grandparents were friends with your grandparents. That's kind of how this all got together. So, that being said, what we would like to do is we would like to urge the state, because somebody just said it right. We, in the town of Brunswick, can do nothing on that state road. We're frustrated. For the person who was just up, and I don't see her right now, going over North Lake Ave with all those cars that you see. We have the same problem on Plank Road. We have the same problem on Route 40 out to 67. What comes with all that, and hopefully you're not seeing it because I didn't get an email or we didn't hear about it, but we often do. Plank Road is trash. They throw bottle cans out the window, hopefully not at people like I heard, but they do throw their trash outside. So we get a work group together to our sheriff's department to go out there and try and clean that trash up and keep it cleaned up, because trash just generates more trash. So we've got to try and clean that up. So our resolution is here tonight. We'll most likely have it on the table to vote for it next week, is to urge New York State to take these recommendations and implement them. So you'll have this. And like I said, we could have acted on this right away after these guys sent the resolution our way, but it wouldn't have looked right. We wanted
Aaron.
If I may, it's a little unprecedented for a public forum. And I think, Mr. Maloney makes a very good point. Happy to see that there has been some consideration over this. I think the conversation from the people that have come in to speak to us tonight and have been working at this for years is very important and has finally gotten us to where we need to be. But I think it's a two-pronged fork here. And I think both of these resolutions need to be taken under consideration. I think this is also, it's the town of Brunswick. Many of these people have told us that they have not been
It's not been in our history to tell the towns and villages what to do in their towns and villages, right? There's broken areas in every town and every village that we can say, and maybe we can help with that. Maybe that's something in the future we can help with, getting some infrastructure plans in place and getting some things like that where we can help the towns get built up a little bit and do better things. But we're not here to tell a town how to run their business. We haven't been, and we shouldn't be. We should run our house the way we need to run our house and let them run their house how they need to run their house. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Maloney. Mr. Leverage?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that, this morning I turned on the news and I was watching the news and then I had an article here in front of me in the Times Union. Considering everything that we're saying, I find it amazing that our governor in the state is talking about giving $2.8 billion up to $6 billion to do something in Albany County on 787 that doesn't seem to be congested. But where's the money for Rensselaer County? Where's the money to address the issues that are real? We do not disagree with you, but we feel, I feel glad that you are willing to share your concerns with us because we do want to listen to you and you kind of give me the impression you're not listened to in other places. We need you to be heard. We need to be heard in this body to our state. They have the money. $600 billion across the river and we get zero over here. Zero. That's a problem. So we need to talk to the state, and we need to talk to them. And maybe they'll be willing to stay on and talk with us, and we can invite you. Maybe that might be the way to do it. But it really is not an issue alone just for this county. We can try to be a mediator and try to get the parties involved, and we will do the best we can. But please understand, this is a state road. We have no authority to tell them what to do. And the town has asked for reviews and surveys to be done. They have provided them to the state, and they have been ignored. And Mr. Maloney has indicated they've been ignored for years. It's time for them to listen. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Harrington?
Yeah, I'm Kenny Harrington. I read this Hoosick Road Corridor study through and through, and there's two things in here that immediately stand out. A roundabout at Lord Avenue and a roundabout at Grange Road. Now you may say, oh wow. But this study tells you those are two roundabouts on that road. You take no property, no buildings, only a little bit more land, a little bit of change on Lord Avenue. Two roundabouts would make a major difference in the traffic flow up Hoosick Street. And I've noticed that. I mean, I travel that back and forth a lot. I mean, this thing at Lord Avenue with arrows going this way and arrows going that way and stop here and stop there, eats up a lot of time. If they had a roundabout there, and this study tells you that, a roundabout would cut it like 90% down on time at that light. Same thing in Grange Road, not quite as significant, but that would stop the Grange Road road, especially as you notice on Sundays, coming down, traffic will back up to 278, because everybody's leaving Vermont, headed back to the city. And that would speed up that one. I mean, there's a stop from Grange Road, 278, then you get through that, and then you get down there by Ace Hardware, and you stop again. Those two intersections make a 90% difference in traffic flow there as far as speed. So it's important. We need the state to do something. They've been studying this thing. They studied, I was on the town board in the 70s, and they were studying traffic flow there. We keep studying it, we do nothing. All the development wasn't there. They could have done something, more lanes very easily then. The state says it's not a problem. They keep saying that we do a study, it's not a major problem. Well, now it's a major problem. So I just thought, if you look at that study, if the state would listen to us and take some of the advice in the study, I think it would make one whale of a difference. Thank you.
And one thing, just for the audience sake, we keep referring to this March 2024 study. So it was Creighton Manning Engineering was involved, along DOT was involved, and the town of Brunswick was involved. So we'll make sure and put that study up on our website, so you all have access to it. You hear, if you haven't seen it, you can look at those recommendations that are in that report. We'll have that up on the website for you tomorrow to look at. And then we'll also have a copy of the proposed resolution that we're looking to pass also, okay? Yes, Ms. Nichols.
First, I just wanted to say, I hope that you can see the differences you've made by your advocacy, by turning out, by speaking, and that's really what the impetus is behind the resolution that's being presented. I also want to celebrate the applause that you gave is absolutely valid. Like, that resolution is important, and the work of going upstream and getting New York State to take on that road is important. But I also want to say what Legislator Grimm said is, in the end, what's going to get you to the results that you want. Everything that's been said here is about the length of time it's taken to do anything with that road at all. So keep pushing and work that angle. Should things begin to happen, you'll also be dealing with the construction to make those solutions a reality. And that's going to make things worse for a period of time. And so in the meantime, while these solutions are pursued, putting a pause in order to come up with a plan for how development can happen in a smart and thoughtful way is absolutely necessary for a part of the process. So keep up your good work going up and lateral.
First, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It means a lot. And I can feel your pain. I live on Liberty Road. My family lives on Liberty Road. My family is behind Roxy's. And again, on Bell Road right now, it is a main road there. It has become North Lake, as you know, goes down through the air, so Liberty's a mess. And so is Bradley Bell Road. So I just want to tell you that, thank you. You know, I'm glad you're coming by to hear everything. You know, I know a lot of people out there. And I live there, and you're my neighborhood. But I was on a town board for 3 terms. And I tried to do the best job to help you there. I was very instrumental in helping with that 4-way stop sign for there after the, and I talked to Chairman Buffett already about this, and I know it's been a town issue, and it's been a city issue, it's a state road in the town. We've been going back and forth through county, planning board, and zoning board. And I can listen to them once in a while. Or maybe, you know, Chairman Buffett possibly could write a letter to DOT and ask them what's going on, or write to the governor and ask them what's going on. You know, and see what the response we get as a county. I know the town has gotten specific answers, but maybe it's time to tell you know, Chairman, that possibly, you know, maybe you can think about writing a letter up or call or whatever, and ask that person, you know, and when we'll get an answer, so we'll know what it is. Not, we're hearing what they told
we brought a lot of people together for the conversation. I also, I agree with everything that's been said here. I'd like to comment with Mr. Maloney's remarks that, it's not our business to be, interfering with the town. The residents of Rensselaer County have come to us, asking us to support them in an effort. If that's urging another municipality to do something on their behalf, then we represent them, and it is our place. By the same token, we are going to urge state government to do something. So there's nothing wrong with us urging any other form of government to satisfy the needs of our residents. So I think what we've done here is that we need to bring them all to the table. The pause is very important. Urging the state to take a better look at this and come up with some solutions is important. I think incorporating the city of Troy into this is important. I mean, bringing everyone to the table, I would hope would be what we achieved tonight. Thank you.
And I appreciate the respectful dialogue amongst everybody here in the room, and especially to the residents who've been so patiently waiting while we've been talking about this. And I'd like to resume our public comment, so for others who may want to voice their opinion. Next signed up is Peter Finn.
I promise I won't say anything about Hudson Street.
I'll try desperately to keep this from 5 to 3. I've been cutting desperately. I know the pickleball has been pulled from the August agenda, but I showed up anyway, so I'm going to speak because I don't know where I'll be in September. I want to express my opposition to the county spending $4 million to construct pickleball courts in East Greenbush. I have a bunch of reasons. I'll go through them real quick. As a lot of you know, I was here in April, I was here in May talking about the impact of Medicaid cuts, and at that time we were assured that the county would fill in the gaps if gaps in federal funding came about. They're going to come about. Why spend $4 million of discretionary money for pickleball when God knows what's going to happen 6 months from now? So that's the first thing. Pickleballs are a lot less essential than people in Van Rensselaer Manor. Another issue that's looming on the horizon is whatever the impact of the tariffs are going to be. The county buys tires, auto parts. Think of all the things the county buys, raise all those by 10%, 20%, and your fiscal year is only half over. Really? $4 million for pickleball? I think it can wait. I think you can wait till you see what happens. That's the second thing. Why do it now? My second big concern is that $4 million comes out to, I used to do math, $500,000 per pickleball court for 8 pickleball courts. I believe the town of Skodak, with a grant from Assemblyman Bendet, built, what's my number here, 4 pickleball courts for $50,000. That's $12,500 per court, not $500,000 per pickleball court. And I'm looking at Bob Loveridge, and I think the town of Sand Lake spent less than that. So you can fill your fellow legislators and how they did it with volunteers and spit, but they did it. That's an outrageous amount of money for pickleball. I know it's got bathrooms, I know it's got lighting, but this is the Taj Mahal of pickleball for 8 pickleball courts. And how many Rensselaer County residents are going to use it? What's the demand? Maybe the Y has a lot of demand. Maybe there's a lot of demand when it's not 90 degrees outside, but maybe there's not a lot of demand to justify that. And again, it's a lot of money when there's a lot of other things that are more important on the agenda that should be spent, money should be spent on. The last thing, I spent a lifetime, it seems longer, it's bad language, I worked for the state parks. Once the county gets in the parks and rec business, you're never getting out. You think the pickleball courts are free, the maintenance is free? No. Security, lighting, nets, repaving, relining. Who's going to patrol it? Who's going to clean the toilets? Who's going to pick up the trash? Some county employee is going to do that. And if you think volunteers are going to do it for the next 20 years, you're kidding yourself. 2 years maybe. Then they'll all get tired and go home, and you'll have to do it anyway. So all those costs, there's a light bill unless it's magically figured out how to get free electricity. Nothing is free. And by the way, the town of East Greenbush, I looked on their website, no pickleball courts at their town park. City of Rensselaer, no pickleball courts in any of their city parks. Give them the goddamn money. Let them build them and maintain them, and you can be heroes.
Your time is up.
Okay, one last thing. There are better things you can spend your money on. I won't go through all those. I will say one last thing because I have to. I'd like to remind you that when I was here in May, we had a discussion about the governor spending $1 billion. Actually, it was 850 or whatever, 850 billion, whatever it was, to build the Buffalo Bills Stadium, and how outrageous and awful that was. Well, that 850 billion represents 0.4% of the state budget, less than 1/2%. Guess what? Spending $4 million on pickleball courts, relatively speaking, is twice as much, 0.9% of the county budget. So, and I will stop. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Thank you.
Like you said when you first stepped up there, it's been pulled from the thing.
Hope it's pulled forever.
We're not supporting it either.
All
So we
right.
have more agreements.
Dylan, okay. Dylan Spring is next. I'm sorry? Oh, okay, thank you. We're no on that one. Ellen Mertel? You're passing also? Yeah. Okay. Okay, next is Bonnie Cooley. Did Mary Ellen sign up in time? You already spoke, okay. So you already spoke, okay. So you're gonna pass? Okay, next we have Enrique Dantit.
Madam Chair,
You're gonna pass?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Mr. Grimm?
I think the woman was asking if she could pass her time to another resident to speak.
But she already spoke. That resident already spoke.
Right, so the answer is no, she cannot.
Yes, correct. Next is Katie Sheehan.
Yes, she's no longer here.
Okay. Michelle Stinson.
Yes, she's not here either.
Yes. The next name, none of us could make out. It may say 110 Cliff. We can't read it. There are three of us who tried to decipher it. Sorry. Next is Robert, is it Evers? Rensselaer, 6 Hill Street? No? Okay. Next is Tom Russell. You already spoke. Okay. Next is Rebecca and Jason Delgado. Pass. Okay, William Jeffers.
William Jeffers. I live up on Hallenbeck Hill near the East Greenbush Town Park. I also thought it was a sign-in sheet, but I do have a few things to say. I am here pro pickleball. I understand the numbers, yes. And I feel for the folks in Brunswick, you absolutely have valid concerns. I think whether the numbers are right or not, I think bringing people together in activity, in community, that's what a good town and county does, is brings people together. fosters a sense of community. Folks look for places to live who support such initiatives, have family-friendly activities, have places for folks to gather. Another thing that our group has been discussing is folks come from all over. Pickleball is still growing, contrary to what was stated earlier. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And even if it does, right now, tennis and basketball courts are being repurposed to be pickleball. So even if pickleball is not the fad 5, 10, 20 years from now, we still created a space where the community can gather, get exercise, and just have a higher quality of life. I will end there on pickleball. What I want to finish with is I'm disappointed and angered at a community forum being used as another place for a political pissing match between the two sides of the aisle. It is frustrating. We have to bring up the governor. We have to bring all these. We are pointing fingers. It is the responsibility of the people in this room to decide what is right for this county and not blame elsewhere. Thank you.
Next is Lisa and Joe Batty. Denise Greenbush? No? Okay. Next is Chris Traskos.
Hi, I'm Chris Traskos from 4 Rock Cut Road, North Greenbush, and I got an email to show up and support pickleball. So I don't have anything prepared to say, but you know, I know there's better things for money, but I've lived here 35 years. There's a lacking of parks and other recreational spots, so I don't think it's a bad investment. Also, we had asked Rensselaer if they would rededicate some of their courts to pickleball on Lakeview, and they said they couldn't. And I think the Columbia High School doesn't do it either. So there might be other options, but I'll support pickleball. I'm a snowbird in Florida, and it is a big thing.
Okay, next is Kim Jensen.
Hello, Kim Jensen, Brunswick. I had a lot of things to say. A lot of other people already said them. I am here about Hoosick Street. Mr. Maloney, thank you for your comments. Same to you, Mr. Casal, Mr. Harrington, and I apologize I missed your name, sir. Mr. Grimm, Ms. Nichols. I agree with all of you. I have looked at these traffic studies myself as well. And yes, the state does need to take responsibility. The group of citizens that has been involved in this for the past year and a half, and probably much longer than that, has been asking for an opportunity to bring the state partners together. We've made contacts of our own. The town has not wanted to engage with us with that. We've asked for a moratorium so that we can figure out a plan, because I agree we do need to figure out a plan. And while the state road is the state's responsibility, the town roads and the county roads that connect to it are the town and the county's responsibility. And we need infrastructure projects, we need support, and that's why I would urge you guys to please consider the resolutions, both of them, so that we can work with our state partners, we can work with you, we can work with our town government to be heard and to hopefully get some progress made on this. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Next we have Jim Isakasik.
Yeah, Jim Tatchik, I'm a 30-year resident of 387 Brunswick Road in Brunswick. I'd like to lobby the Rensselaer County Legislature for some assistance with the Hoosick Road development, and some of it's direct and some of it's indirect. The first indirect thing is just your power of persuasion. I don't think we're trying to force, I'm not trying to get you to force anything, because you can't force anything, right? But one thing I'd like to point out is that the comprehensive plan is being used to justify the current situation. And the current situation is a result of like what I call an anything goes development. Anybody who wants to put a business on Hoosick Road, they get permission. For example, the latest one was the Quick Check gas station. That's going to be the 7th gas station in the 3.5 miles between Lake Avenue and Brick Church Road, right? Was that necessary? I don't know. I was a member of the Comprehensive Plan Committee, as was Mr. Harrington for Brunswick, and this was never meant to be. We accepted that Hoosick Road was going to be the commercial center, right? But it was not going to be like anything goes sort of place. I think you can get development without generating a lot of traffic, for example. And that sort of a plan was never considered. Well, I think what's needed is a new comprehensive plan for Brunswick. All right, this was done over a period of 2011 started and ended in 2013. Right now it's 12 years old. Right, it needs updating, and I think if the and the supervisor resists this, right? And this has come up time and time again at the town meetings when people are voicing their opinion, right? So just try to convince them. What's the situation in other towns in the county? How often do they renew comprehensive plans? This is 12 years now. It's going to take another 2 years. That will be 14 years in between. That's a big space. Now, this is an aside here to show you how obsolete the comprehensive plan is. We'll have some controversial solar projects being considered in Brunswick. There's not a word in there about solar in our comprehensive plan because it was not on the radar then. And there's no way. But this is just an example of how it's obsolete. It needs to be renewed. Now, there's one other thing with the what I call direct assistance from the county. There's been a lot of the notion of the Route 2 or Route 7 is a state highway. We can't do anything with it. Okay, there are some things, some projects, parts of the project from the CDC project study that puts the onus on the county. For example, there's quite a lot in there about pedestrian safety and infrastructure. If you consider the McChesney Avenue, where it comes into Hoosick, that's a county road. And the town is saying, we can't do anything. It's a county road. Our hands are tied. Well, I'd like you folks to untie your hands and take a look at the part of that deals with pedestrian safety, providing a safe walkway along McChesney Avenue. And crosswalks and like in the development where McChesney is coming into Hoosick, because they're going to rebuild that intersection, and you have to provide sidewalks or at least a widened shoulder marked to provide, because there are a lot of people that use that.
You're over 4 minutes now.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
No, you can finish your thought.
Okay, but anyways, this is it. I'd like to lobby the county to just try to persuade, use your power of persuasion, or sometimes even just talking to your brothers for this. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so I think that was everybody that signed up. I thought it was important that everybody, instead of 3 people speaking on one topic. We were able to have everybody speak who wanted to be heard. I apologize, we had to reduce that time. Otherwise, we probably would, still be here later on this evening. But again, wanted to make sure everybody has an opportunity to be heard. And we appreciate everybody coming to talk on a variety of issues, right? And that's what these public forums are for. So I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Appreciate the members of the legislature working together on this. And I hope everybody has a safe evening. Be careful going home, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.